They told us to buy expensive creams to look like a supermodel. They showed us airbrushed perfection and said, "This is beauty." But what if the real secrets weren't in those glossy magazines, but hiding on ordinary bathroom shelves? This is the story of a young woman who peered into those private spaces, asked a brilliant question, and then completely flipped the beauty world on its head. We're going to follow Glossier's dizzying rise, its painful stumbles, the mass layoffs, and the moment its iconic founder stepped away. This isn't just a feel-good success story, it's an honest look at how a cult startup struggles to grow up, losing some of its magic, but ultimately finding new stability. By the end, you'll understand not just how Glossier got big, but why its journey offers lessons for every business trying to build something new. Imagine a time not so long ago, a world where the beauty industry felt like a giant, hushed monologue. Mega corporations with their endless advertising budgets dictated what was beautiful and what you needed to buy to achieve it. Glossy magazines were their pulpits, showcasing flawless, airbrushed faces and whispering, "Buy this serum, and you'll look exactly like her." But we all knew the truth, didn't we? No one ever did. There was this massive, echoing chasm between the advertising image, this unattainable ideal, and the messy, beautiful reality of everyday life. The conversation was one-sided. Brands talked to us, rarely with us. Now picture a 25-year-old woman navigating the chaotic, high-pressure world of Vogue. Her job is hardly glamorous, hauling designer wardrobes around for photo shoots, standing for hours in bustling makeup rooms. But while the supermodels are being prepped, while the cameras flash and stylists fuss, she isn't just doing her assigned tasks. She's watching. She's listening. With an almost surgical precision, she's observing what the makeup artists actually use, not just what they're paid to promote. She notices the lip balm that's in every effortlessly cool girl's bag, and a light bulb goes off. The real magic, the genuine secrets, aren't on the pristine pages of a magazine. They're on the crowded, often messy shelves of real women's bathrooms. That observant young woman was Emily Weiss. And she didn't just start a company. She ignited a revolution. The spark wasn't a groundbreaking new product idea right away, but a simple act, picking up a camera, venturing into the homes of New York's most stylish women, and asking one brilliantly disarming question: "Can I take a picture of your bathroom shelf?" This is the incredible tale of how a humble blog, focused on the contents of other people's makeup bags, blossomed into a beauty empire once valued at nearly $2 billion. This is the story of Glossier. To truly grasp why Glossier became such a groundbreaking phenomenon, we have to rewind and understand Emily Weiss before she was a CEO. She grew up in Connecticut, part of an affluent family. From a young age, she had a taste for the limelight, modeling as a teenager and even appearing on the reality show The Hills as a super intern for teen Vogue. This early exposure to media and fashion was her proving ground. At just 18, she made the quintessential move to New York, enrolling at NYU, and almost immediately landed an internship at Teen Vogue. 3 days a week, she was plunged headfirst into a world that millions of girls could only dream of. She was backstage at iconic fashion shows, inside the hallowed makeup rooms where the world's most skilled artists meticulously worked on models' faces. She was the girl who saw everything, the quiet observer soaking it all in. And what she saw was revealing. She noticed that the models didn't actually use the 10 layers of foundation that were applied for shoots. She saw seasoned makeup artists ingeniously mixing affordable drugstore products with high-end luxury items. She realized that the most stylish and influential editors carried bags filled not with the heavily advertised brand-new products, but with trusted, effective staples they swore by. There was a secret language spoken backstage, a quiet wisdom about what really worked that never made it into print. After college, Emily continued her ascent through the ranks, working as an assistant at prestigious publications like W and Vogue. She was a small but crucial cog in the massive glittering machine that manufactured and sold the dream of beauty. Yet, the deeper she went into that machine, the more a persistent question gnawed at her. Where were the real women in all of this? The magazines were obsessed with fleeting trends and complex chemical formulas, but they never seemed to talk about how a woman genuinely feels in her own skin, about the everyday rituals that made her feel confident and beautiful. By 2010, this simmering tension, this gap between aspiration and reality, found its outlet. Emily, with characteristic boldness, invested $700 of her own savings, a significant sum for an assistant, into a domain name. That domain became Into the Gloss. Her schedule at this point was nothing short of insane. She would wake up at 4 a.m., work on her burgeoning blog for several hours, then rush off to her demanding day job at Vogue. This grueling routine wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon that went on for months, a testament to her vision and drive. The blog's signature, its absolute centerpiece, was a column simply called The Top Shelf. Emily would seek out and visit the most interesting, stylish, and influential women she knew: models, actresses, designers, writers. But instead of focusing on their careers or latest projects, she would steer the conversation into their bathrooms and ask them, with genuine curiosity, to reveal the contents of their shelves. The response was an explosion. For the very first time, readers were offered an unfiltered, unretouched glimpse into the private beauty routines of women they admired. These weren't ads. These were raw, honest testimonials. The interviews were incredibly candid, refreshingly direct. Women shared which humble cream had truly saved their skin, which concealer they'd been buying for 10 years straight, and even which ridiculously expensive product had turned out to be a complete disappointment. It was the conversation the beauty industry had been missing for decades. It was a girl-to-girl talk, open and authentic. The audience for Into the Gloss grew exponentially, organically. The comments section beneath each post didn't just host casual remarks. It became a massive, vibrant forum where thousands of women eagerly exchanged experiences, tips, and frustrations. Emily, with sharp clarity, realized she hadn't just created a blog. She had cultivated a powerful, engaged community. This insight was pivotal. She bravely quit her job at Vogue to devote herself fully to Into the Gloss, recognizing its immense potential. 4 years passed, and Into the Gloss solidified its position as one of the most influential beauty media outlets in the entire world. Emily, unknowingly at first, was sitting on a gold mine, though not the kind everyone assumed. Her most valuable asset wasn't the modest ad revenue the blog generated. It was data. Raw, unfiltered, priceless data. Every single day, within those thousands of comments, women were practically screaming about what they wanted, what they couldn't find, what their perfect product would be. "I dream of a foundation that doesn't feel like a heavy mask," one might write. Another, "Why do all cleansers leave my skin feeling so dry and tight?" And a common refrain, "I just can't find a natural-looking blush that actually stays put." Emily, with her keen observational skills and access to this treasure trove of user feedback, held a ready-made brief for the perfect beauty brand. This wasn't a brand conceived in a sterile corporate lab, but one born directly from the authentic, unmet demands of her passionate community. She saw a massive, undeniable gap in the market. Existing brands offered either complex, multi-step routines that felt like a chore, or heavy, professional-grade makeup designed for stage lights, not daylight. Her readers, the women she spoke to, yearned for simplicity. They wanted products they could apply with their fingers in just 2 minutes. They craved products that didn't cover up their skin, but made it look and feel healthier, better. The core idea crystallized sharp and clear: skin first, makeup second. This wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was a philosophy. It meant developing skincare that genuinely made the skin healthy and radiant, a luminous canvas. And then, offering light, intuitive makeup that enhanced that natural beauty, rather than masking it. Armed with this powerful concept and the undeniable proof of her community, Emily set out to raise capital. She secured her first $2 million based on a single compelling presentation. Investors didn't just believe in a product that didn't even exist yet. They believed in the established, devoted community of Into the Gloss, and in Emily's unwavering vision. She found a chemist and began the painstaking process of developing formulas, rejecting dozens that didn't meet her exacting standard. A product had to be not just effective, but a genuine pleasure to use, something that brought joy to the daily routine. In October 2014, Glossier officially launched, and it did so with a remarkably minimalist lineup, just 4 core products. Not a sprawling palette of shades, not 30 different lipsticks, but 4 essential items designed to simplify and enhance. There was a hydrating moisturizer, a refreshing rosewater face mist, a sheer skin tint for a touch of natural coverage, and the now iconic universal Balm Dotcom, which quickly became an absolute hit. The launch itself was as unconventional as the brand's philosophy. There were no expensive magazine ads, no giant billboards dominating Times Square. Glossier's chosen platform was Instagram. A full month before launch day, Emily created the Glossier account and began posting a carefully curated series of mood boards. Images of morning light streaming through windows, dewdrops glistening on petals, natural imperfect faces glowing with health. By launch day, Glossier already boasted over 15,000 followers, the most loyal, eager readers of her blog, ready and waiting. Every single detail was meticulously thought out. The minimalist, clean aesthetic. The now ubiquitous, millennial pink packaging, instantly recognizable and highly Instagrammable. Every single order arrived in a signature pink zip pouch, which itself became a cult accessory, often filled with fun, collectible stickers. Glossier wasn't just selling makeup or skincare. It was selling an aesthetic, an experience, a sense of belonging to an exclusive yet inclusive club. The direct-to-consumer, or DTC model, was central to their strategy. It allowed them to communicate directly with their customers, bypassing traditional retailers and maintaining absolute control over their brand image and message. And their community responded enthusiastically. Thousands of girls, excited by their purchases, posted selfies showcasing their new Glossier items, organically becoming free, authentic brand ambassadors. Emily had brilliantly proven her hypothesis: build trust and community first, then offer a product, and that product is practically destined for success. The growth was swift, almost deafening. Just 1 month after launch, Glossier announced an impressive $8.4 million in new funding. 2 years later, another $24 million poured in. Emily Weiss hadn't just created a new cosmetics brand. She had forged a cultural phenomenon that resonated deeply with a generation yearning for authenticity. The product line expanded thoughtfully, always driven by community feedback. Cult favorites quickly emerged: the gentle Milky Jelly Cleanser, the easy-to-use Cloud Paint Liquid Blush, and the game-changing Boy Brow Gel. Each new product addressed a real need, a specific desire gleaned directly from those thousands of comments and conversations on Into the Gloss. In 2016, Glossier, primarily a digital brand, took a bold step offline, opening its flagship showroom in New York City. This wasn't just a store. It was an experience, an Instagram mecca. Picture it: soft pink interiors, enormous mirrors perfectly positioned for selfies, and friendly employees in chic pink jumpsuits. People didn't just come to shop. They lined up for hours, eager to immerse themselves in the world of Glossier. More stores soon followed in Los Angeles, London, and other major cities, each a carefully crafted reflection of the brand's unique aesthetic. By 2018, Glossier had achieved the coveted unicorn status. Valued at over $1 billion, the young assistant from Vogue had, against all odds, become one of the most successful female entrepreneurs in the world. The company's valuation peaked in 2021, reaching an impressive $1.8 billion, with a total of $266 million raised from investors. But at this very peak, cracks began to show. The dizzying ascent had obscured some underlying issues, and the first major challenges arrived. The COVID-19 pandemic hit hard, forcing Glossier to close all its physical stores and, tragically, lay off its entire retail team. The very model that had thrived on physical experiential spaces was suddenly under immense threat. Then came a troubling loss of focus. Perhaps a little drunk on its own success, Glossier launched Glossier Play, a line of bright, glittery, highly pigmented products in non-eco-friendly packaging. This felt like a complete contradiction to the brand's foundational skin-first, makeup-second philosophy, the very essence of natural, effortless beauty. The devoted community, who had been their biggest cheerleaders, largely rejected it. It was a costly and very public misstep, and the line was quickly discontinued. Internally, things began to falter too. Stories started leaking from former employees about a toxic work environment and, disturbingly, instances of racism within their retail teams. The brand that had so beautifully preached inclusivity and authenticity was, on the inside, far from perfect. It was a harsh wake-up call. The crisis reached its painful climax in January 2022. Glossier announced a significant round of layoffs, letting go of a third of its corporate staff, over 80 people. Emily Weiss herself publicly admitted they had made mistakes, gotten carried away with rapid hiring and too many ambitious projects, losing touch with the grounded reality that had made them successful. Then came the most dramatic twist of all. In May 2022, Emily Weiss, the founder, the visionary, the very soul of the brand, made the incredibly difficult decision to step down as CEO. While she remained involved as executive chair, the operational control of her creation was handed over to Kyle Leahy, an experienced executive who had previously worked at Nike. It was the undeniable end of Glossier's cult startup era, and the challenging, often painful beginning of its transformation into a more mature, systematic business. The new leadership team had to make tough, sometimes unpopular decisions. The direct-to-consumer model, once their revolutionary strength, had, paradoxically, become a limitation to sustained growth. To truly expand, Glossier needed to be where customers were already buying their beauty products. So in 2023, Glossier took a monumental step that, just years prior, would have seemed unthinkable, appearing on the shelves of Sephora. For nearly a decade, they had built their empire meticulously apart from everyone else, a fiercely independent direct-to-consumer success story. Now they were stepping into the main arena, alongside every other major beauty brand. This required a complete internal overhaul, more layoffs, new hires specializing in supply chain management, and wholesale partnerships. It was a painful, necessary transformation from a nimble digital native darling to a complex omnichannel player. So what exactly is the enduring legacy of Emily Weiss and Glossier? First, Glossier profoundly changed our collective relationship with skin. It made dewy skin, skin that looks moist, radiant, and naturally healthy, not just desirable, but mainstream. It taught an entire generation that makeup isn't about covering up flaws, but about enhancing and celebrating what you already have. It shifted the focus from perfection to well-being. Second, it pioneered a revolutionary new business model, from media to product. The strategy was clear: build dialogue, foster trust, and cultivate a deeply engaged community first, then offer them a product. Dozens, if not hundreds, of brands across countless industries have since copied this exact strategy, proving its power and effectiveness. Third, Glossier created an entire aesthetic that permeated culture. Millennial pink, minimalist fonts, instantly recognizable, Instagrammable packaging. This specific visual code was adopted and emulated by countless startups striving for a similar cool, approachable vibe. Today, Glossier is no longer the small, edgy, rebellious brand it was in 2014. It's a large, established company fighting for market share in an incredibly competitive industry. But it remains fiercely independent, having not been swallowed up by giants like L'Oréal or Estée Lauder, which in itself is a remarkable achievement. Emily Weiss's story is the quintessential modern entrepreneurial journey. It wasn't a straight line upwards, but a dynamic sine wave of exhilarating highs and challenging lows. She showed the world how to build an empire on intuition, authenticity, and sheer charisma. And perhaps most powerfully, she demonstrated that at a certain critical stage, a founder must possess the extraordinary courage to step aside, allowing their creation to evolve and live on, even without them at the helm day to day. She started simply by peeking into other people's bathrooms, seeking out honesty in a world of artifice. She ended up building a brand that now sits proudly on the shelves in the bathrooms of millions of women worldwide. And in doing so, she forever shifted the beauty industry from a one-way monologue of glossy advertising slogans to an endless, honest, and truly inclusive group chat. If you want to uncover more stories of brands that changed the game, hit subscribe.